Hi guys, and welcome to another video. So this video was originally going to be just a simple preview to tomorrow's game. I've just watched the pre-match presser, but something that's just been weighing on my mind pretty much since yesterday, since I've seen it, was Ian Hart, also known as Jack Clarke's agent, was on a podcast as of recently. I'm not too sure when it was. I don't know whether it was yesterday when it was uploaded or it was put out there yesterday or the day before, but it only came to my attention as of yesterday evening. Now, Ian Hart made a comment during that podcast, which I will put up in just a moment. I will show you the clip so you guys can decide for yourself and it gives you a bit of context. But it's just really played on my mind and it just really irked me, essentially. And I'll give you my reason as to why once I've shown you the clip. But essentially, if you just think as an agent, and we know that agents are all about the money, they're all about the cash. A lot of the time, they're ruining the game to a degree. They don't really look in the best interests of their clients. It's generally, let's get a move so I can get a big chunk of that money so then I can pay my own bills. Do you know what I mean? And to a degree, I almost understand that, but you also have a responsibility for the client and for their best interests. And that's not to say I don't think Jack Clarke isn't going to leave this summer. In fact, it's highly likely. I think none of us would be shocked if he was to leave this summer, particularly if we don't go up. But to make comments like he has done at this point in the season, when there's already a huge spotlight on Sunderland in terms of the fan base and how intense it can be, the running for the playoffs, the scrutiny that Beal is under, for him to then make these comments, which I'll show now, it's just mind-boggling for me, and I'll give you reasons as to why and how I feel on it. But here is the clip from the podcast. I'm not particularly familiar with it. I think is it the Tippy Tappy podcast or something like that. I'm not familiar. I've never seen it before up until this clip, but this is what it's from. Apologies for the poor quality at the moment, but I'll show it you.
How was January for you? Is that like a manic time of your year?
No, normally it's it can be quite busy, stressful, but this window, one of the players I look after, Jack Clarke, there was a couple of bids that come in from Lazio. Sunderland didn't feel like that they wanted to sell the player in the January window, so the players just obviously got to focus on what he's doing at the moment, which is fantastically well, scoring goals, obviously getting assists, but hopefully this summer we'll probably see Jack moving. Where it may be, we don't know just yet, but he's in a good place. Sunderland, it's a good footballing team. It's a young group of players with a new manager, and it's exciting to watch. I think it's going to be difficult to try and get into the playoffs, but we'll have to wait and see what they can do.
So there's the clip, and he essentially, of course, says that we did receive bids for Jack in January. Sunderland didn't want to let him go. It is largely documented that if we don't go up, then we are happy to see, well, not happy to see Jack go, of course, but we'll be more willing to and open to listen to offers. But they have to be, of course, of the right value of how we value Jack. He still has years left on his contract. We're well within our right to do that. However, for Ian Hart to say, hopefully we get a move for him this summer, we don't need any more distractions, let alone Jack Clarke. We don't need any more distractions. For your biggest distraction to be your own agent is mental. What Ian Hart's done there is, surely Jack must be listening to that and thinking, oh, why don't my agent shut the fuck up, man? Do you know what I mean? And just cause more of a stir within the fan base that doesn't need to be there. And it's so unbelievably unprofessional to say that you're essentially willing a deal or you're willing Jack to be away from the club, but before anywhere near the summer. Do you know what I mean? Without knowing how we're going to finish, let him concentrate on his football, yet you're willing for a move to get your own payday. It's stupidly unprofessional. It's not looking after Jack's well-being when he doesn't need any more distractions. He's got enough on his plate. He's got a huge responsibility at the moment within the squad. He's one of the most highly relied on players, rightly or wrongly, because of how good the lad is. So to put even more, pressure on him by saying shit like that and being a bigger distraction that he definitely doesn't need, him and the squad and the team, And it's also massively disrespectful towards the club that Ian Hart, if he, has a short-term memory, he did once play for. It's stupidly disrespectful and unprofessional. It's baffling for me. It's mind-boggling. And, I get it, they're trying to get sort of behind the scenes of an agent, and that's what they're trying to sort of allow the sort of the wider public to see what it's like. But then to say in frigging February that you're wanting to get a move for him in the summer, it's absolutely baffling. It's baffling. You've added pressure on the lad that doesn't need to be there, and it's mental. He comes across an absolute dickhead. An absolute dickhead. It has to be said. And I've seen online, and a lot of people do share the same opinion of me, so it'd be very interesting to see what you guys think in the comments. But also, there is the flip side of people say, well, that's just a modern game. And yeah, it is, and I fully expect, as I say, as I briefly alluded to, I fully expect Jack Clarke, if I'm being totally honest, hand on heart, I fully expect Jack Clarke to leave us in the summer. Maybe even if we do end up somehow going up, which I don't think we will, but I still think Jack Clarke will likely leave us in the summer. For a decent fee, mind you, but I still think he will end up leaving us. Nature of the beast, he's improving drastically, his name's out there. I think he will eventually, I think he will get a move in the summer. I'd love to see him stay, but I think he will. But just be professional, keep it behind closed doors, don't go out to a public podcast and say you're hopeful we'll get a move for Jack. Do you know what I mean? It's just so, you have this responsibility for your client, and he's shown an absolute, I don't know what it's a disrespect not just to the club but to the client. Like I said, he's just a huge distraction to his own client. If he wants him to go, if anything, you'd think that he'd shut his fucking mouth, because then Jack Clarke can continue, focus on his football, play well without distraction, and that will only naturally up his value come the summer, which is what he's talking about. But if you're throwing little bombshells out there, disrupting the fan base, which of course in turn turns on the team, or it filters through to the team, his performances are going to dip. He's just such a stupid man. You're thick as pig shit. Absolutely, and he makes himself look an absolute knob just by saying that. And I'm not just saying it because it's like, oh no, we're going to lose Jack, or he's been disrespectful to my club. It's not just that. It's just the nature of the way he's gone about it publicly. It's just so stupid. It's just another layer of pressure that we don't need, Jack doesn't need, and it's just mental. It absolutely baffles me. And again, I know some of you guys will just say, well, it's just the way the game's gone now, but and I get it, behind closed doors, there probably is. I would imagine that most agents, even though they're supposed to be looking after the welfare of their clients, like I keep on saying, I can imagine a lot of agents are always, or they do largely have their one eye on the next transfer window. Let's see if I can get this lad. Even though we might be happy here, let's see if we can tempt him away to this club. This club might be open to taking him on, and that in turn will give me a percentage of the money, and this, that, and the other, if that's the way it works. And that's fine. It's very annoying, but it's fine. But agents, and we've seen from so many, from podcasts like this, when you do see behind the curtain, how slimy and weaselly most agents are. And they will try and disrupt a player who, Jack Clarke, and I thoroughly believe that Jack Clarke is enjoying his football at Sunderland. He was getting thrown from pillar to post, with different loan spells that weren't working out. He had his big money move, didn't work out, and he hasn't felt at home for a very long time. And now he's found his home, he's got a bit of value to his name, and he's had a good year under his belt, a good year or so, and now all of a sudden Hart's just like, okay, we need to try and get a move from this summer, and say it publicly. It's mind-boggling how unbelievably naive and unprofessional you can be. It's just, I don't know. I don't know whether I'm making a meal of this, but I find it's disheartening that how slimy the game has gone in that sense. But he just looks like a fucking weasel, an absolute weasel in my opinion. But yeah, I'd be really interested to see on this topic how you guys feel. Let me know in the comments down below. Yeah, and it'd be, like I said, it'd be very interesting. It's just, like I said, I was going to just do a general preview to the game. I will be doing a review to the game tomorrow. But I have just been incredibly under the weather, if I'm honest with you. I'm still not feeling so good. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what you guys think in the comments. Let me know. But if you have enjoyed and you agree with me, hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you are new. But take care and stay jammy.